My name is Daniel. 3 months ago, I would have told you I had the perfect life. A beautiful wife, 2 amazing kids, and a villa in a quiet neighborhood where everyone knew each other. But now I know it was all a lie. It started with small things. My wife, Sophia, suddenly caring more about her appearance. Extra time at the gym. Late-night work calls. I ignored it at first. Marriage is about trust, right? But then, the neighbor, Mark, started showing up too often. Mark and his wife, Lisa, lived 2 houses down. We'd have barbecues together. Our kids played in the same yard. He was my friend. Or so I thought. The first real red flag was Sophia's phone. She never used to care if I touched it. But one night, I reached for it to check the weather and she snatched it away like I'd tried to grab a knife. Her face went pale. "I just don't like people going through my things," she said. People? I'm her husband. Then came the errands. Sophia would leave for hours, saying she was grocery shopping or meeting a friend. But when I checked our bank statements, there were no grocery charges. Just a $120 receipt from a boutique hotel 20 minutes away. I wish I could say I confronted her right then, but I didn't. I froze, because admitting it meant my whole life was about to explode. Then, one Tuesday afternoon, I came home early. The kids were at soccer practice. The house was empty, except for Sophia's phone buzzing on the kitchen counter. A text from Mark. "Can't stop thinking about last night. When can I see you again?" My hands shook. Last night? She'd told me she was at her sister's. I scrolled up. Big mistake. Photos, texts, plans, all of it. My wife and my so-called friend laughing behind my back. The worst part? They'd been doing this for months. Right under my nose, in our bed when I was away on business. I sat there, staring at the screen, feeling like the world had dropped out from under me. What do you do when the person you trust most stabs you in the back? I was about to find out. My name is Daniel Carter. Up until 3 months ago, I would have sworn on my life that I had it all. A wife who still gave me butterflies after 10 years of marriage. 2 kids, Emily, 8, and Jake, 6, who were my entire world. And our dream home, a villa in one of those quiet, tree-lined neighborhoods where people actually know each other's names. I was happy. Or at least I thought I was. Looking back now, the signs were there. Tiny cracks in the foundation of our marriage that I ignored because I didn't want to see them. Because admitting something was wrong meant admitting that my perfect life wasn't so perfect after all. It started with the little things. Sophia, my wife, had always been beautiful. But suddenly, she was obsessed with her appearance. New lingerie, extra hours at the gym, waxing appointments she never used to care about. At first, I was flattered. Maybe she was doing it for me? But then I noticed she wasn't dressing up for me. She'd come home from work, change into something sexier, and say she was meeting an old friend for drinks. Which friend? Oh, you don't know her. Then there were the late-night work calls. Sophia was a marketing consultant, so business trips and late emails weren't unusual. But these calls? She'd take them in the bathroom, whispering, the shower running for cover. And when she came out, she'd avoid my eyes like she was guilty of something. I should have asked. I should have pushed. But I didn't. Because the alternative, that the woman I loved was lying to me, was too painful to consider. And then there was Mark. Mark and Lisa Reynolds lived 2 houses down from us. They were the perfect couple, always hosting barbecues, always laughing a little too loud at each other's jokes. Our kids played together. We drank wine on their patio. Mark and I even went golfing a few times. But then things got weird. Mark started dropping by unexpectedly. "Hey man, just borrowing your grill tools. Forgot my phone charger, mind if I grab one?" Always when Sophia was home. Always when I was at work. And Sophia? She'd light up when he was around in a way she hadn't, with me in months. The final straw was her phone. Sophia used to leave it lying around all the time. I'd check the weather, answer a text for her if her hands were full, no big deal. But then, one night I reached for it to look up a movie time, and she snatched it away like I'd tried to steal her purse. Her face went pale. "I just don't like people going through my things." People? I wasn't people. I was her husband. That's when I knew. I wish I could say I confronted her right then, but I didn't, because deep down, I was terrified of what I'd find. So I watched. I waited. And the more I paid attention, the more obvious it became. The errands that took hours with no shopping bags. The sudden girls' nights where none of her friends had seen her. The way she'd turn her phone face down the second I walked into the room. Then came the bank statement, a $120 charge from the Laurel Inn, a boutique hotel 20 minutes away. On a day she told me she was at her sister's. My stomach twisted. But even then, I gave her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe it was a work thing. I was lying to myself. And then, I came home early. It was a Tuesday. The kids were at soccer practice. The house was empty, except for Sophia's phone, buzzing on the kitchen counter. A text from Mark. Can't stop thinking about last night. When can I see you again? My hands shook. Last night? She'd told me she was at her sister's. I shouldn't have looked, but I did. I scrolled up, and there it was. Photos. Texts. Plans. All of it. My wife and my so-called friend. Laughing at me. Betraying me. The worst part? It had been going on for months. Right under my nose. In our bed when I was away on business. In his car when she went grocery shopping. At that fucking hotel. I sat there staring at the screen, my whole body numb. What do you do when the person you trusted most destroys your life with a lie? I was about to find out. I didn't sleep that night. Sophia's phone stayed on the kitchen counter, lighting up every few minutes with another message from him. I didn't touch it. Didn't need to. That one text had already burned itself into my brain. Can't stop. Thinking about last night. I sat at the table, hands clenched, replaying every lie, every excuse, every time I'd ignored the gut feeling that something was wrong. The worst part? The kids. Emily's ballet recital was tomorrow. Jake had his first t-ball game this weekend. How was I supposed to look them in the eye and pretend their world wasn't about to implode? Around 2 a.m., I heard Sophia's car pull into the driveway. She'd been at her sister's, remember? Except her sister lived an hour away, and Sophia had only been gone 3 hours. The front door opened softly. She thought I was asleep. I waited, until she was halfway up the stairs before I spoke. Who's Mark? She froze. I saw her shoulders tense under her thin jacket. What? Her voice was too high. I stood up, her phone in my hand. Mark. Your neighbor. The guy whose texts you've been hiding from me for months. She turned slowly, her face pale in the dim light. Daniel. It's not what you... Don't. My voice cracked. Just don't lie to me again. For a second, she just stared at me. Then her eyes dropped to the phone in my hand, and her expression changed. Not guilt. Anger. You went through my phone? I almost laughed. That's what she focused on? You left it open. With his texts right there. I took a step closer. How long, Sophia? She crossed her arms. It's not serious. Not serious. 4 words. That's all it took to shatter whatever hope I had left. You're sleeping with him, I said, my voice dead. In our bed. In hotels. While I'm at work. While the kids are at school. That's not serious to you? Her silence was answer enough. Wanted to scream. To throw something. To drive to Mark's house and break his fucking nose. But all I could do was stand there, my chest so tight I could barely breathe. Sophia finally looked down. I didn't mean for this to happen. Bullshit. My hands shook. You chose this. Every text, every lie, every time you looked me in the eye and pretended nothing was wrong, you chose him. She didn't deny it. That hurt more than anything. I turned away before she could see my face crumple. Get out. What? Pack a bag and go. I don't care where. But you're not sleeping under this roof tonight. Daniel, the kids. Don't you dare use them as an excuse. I whirled on her, my voice raw. You should have thought about them before you destroyed our family. She flinched. For the first time, I saw real fear in her eyes. Good. Let her feel even half the pain she'd caused me. 20 minutes later, she was gone. I sat on the edge of our bed, my bed now. staring at the indent on her pillow. Then I did something stupid. Texted Mark. I know, his reply was instant. Know what? Coward. I didn't answer. Let him sweat. Let him wonder if Sophia had told me everything. Let him lie awake tonight, just like I would. Because this wasn't over. Not even close. The next morning, I woke up to the sound of Emily's voice outside my bedroom door. Daddy? Where's Mommy? I sat up, my head pounding. For a second, I'd forgotten. Then it all came crashing back. Sophia's betrayal. The texts. The way she hadn't even tried to deny it. I opened the door. Emily stood there in her pajamas, clutching her stuffed rabbit. Jake was still asleep down the hall. Mommy had to leave early, I lied, forcing a smile. She'll be back soon. Emily frowned, but she promised to make pancakes today. My chest ached. Sophia had promised, just like she'd promised to love me forever. I knelt down and pulled my daughter into a hug. How about Daddy makes them instead? Breakfast was a disaster. I burned the first batch of pancakes. Jake cried because they weren't Mommy's way. Emily kept asking when Sophia would be back. I didn't have an answer. My phone buzzed. A text from Sophia. We need to talk. The kids can't just wake up to me gone. I clenched my jaw. Now she cared about the kids? You should have thought about that before you fucked our neighbor, I typed back. No reply. By noon, I couldn't take it anymore. I called my brother, Chris. Hey man, what's up? He answered, cheerful. Sophia's cheating on me, I said flatly. Silence. Then, what the fuck? 10 minutes later, he was at my door with a six-pack and a grim expression. Tell me everything, so I did. The texts, the hotel receipts, the way she'd looked at me when I confronted her. Like I was the one who'd ruined everything. Chris listened, his face darkening. You tell Lisa yet? I froze. Mark's wife. No, I admitted. I don't even know how to. She deserves to. No, Chris interrupted. Before Mark spins some bullshit story, he was right. But the thought of destroying another family, of looking Lisa in the eye and telling her her marriage was a lie too, made me sick. I waited until the kids were at school the next day before walking to Mark's house. Lisa answered the door, holding their toddler on her hip. Daniel, hi! My throat tightened. She had no idea. Hey, Lisa, I said, forcing a smile. Is Mark home? No, he's at work. Everything okay? I hesitated. Just say it. I think you should check Mark's phone, I blurted. Ask him about Sophia. Lisa's smile faded. What? I'm sorry, I whispered. Then I turned and walked away before I could see the moment her heart broke too. Lisa showed up at my door 2 hours later. Her eyes were red raw, her hands shaking as she gripped her car keys. She didn't even say hello, just stared at me with this hollow look that told me everything. You were right, she whispered. I let her inside. She collapsed onto my couch like her legs couldn't hold her up anymore. I checked his phone like you said, she choked out. There were so many messages, pictures, hotel confirmations. A broken laugh escaped her. He told me he was working late. All those nights, he was with her. I handed her a coffee she didn't drink. We sat there in silence. Two people who'd just found out our marriages were built on the same lie. Then Lisa looked up, her voice turning sharp. Where's Sophia now? No idea, I admitted. She left after I confronted her, probably with him. Lisa's face darkened. She pulled out her phone and dialed Mark's number with trembling fingers. It went straight to voicemail. Coward, she muttered. Then she texted him something fast and furious before slamming her phone down. What did you say to him? I asked. Lisa smiled bitterly. Told him to come get his shit before I burn it all. Sophia called me 7 times that afternoon. I ignored everyone. Then the texts started. Daniel, we need to talk about the kids. You had no right to tell Lisa. Answer your damn phone, I finally responded. Should have thought about the kids before you fucked their friend's dad. The typing bubbles appeared. Disappeared. Then nothing. Good. Mark's car pulled into his driveway at 5:17 p.m. I watched from my window as he walked slowly to his front door, shoulders hunched like he was waiting for a bomb to go off. It did. Even through the walls, I heard Lisa scream, "How long, Mark? How many lies?" Then something smashed. A vase? A picture frame? The shouting went on for 20 minutes before Mark came stumbling back outside, a duffel bag in hand. He looked up and saw me watching. Our eyes locked. For a second, I thought he might come over, apologize, maybe even try to fight me. Instead, he got in his car and drove away. Sophia came home at midnight. I was sitting at the kitchen table in the dark when the front door opened. She froze when she saw me. "Daniel." "Lisa knows," I said flatly. "Mark's gone. And you? You don't get to waltz back in here like nothing happened." Sophia's face crumpled. "Where else am I supposed to go?" "Try Mark's hotel room," I shot back. She flinched. "It's not like that anymore. It's over," I barked out a laugh. "Because you got caught. Not because you wanted it to end." She didn't deny it. "The kids," she started. "Don't," I cut her off. "You lost the right to use them as an excuse." Sophia opened her mouth, then closed it. For the first time in our marriage, she had nothing to say. Emily knew first. She walked into the kitchen Saturday morning while Sophia and I were locked in another silent standoff over coffee. Our 8-year-old took one look at us, me gripping my mug like I wanted to break it, Sophia's puffy eyes staring at the wall, and froze. "Are you getting divorced?" she blurted out. Sophia's coffee cup slipped from her hands and shattered on the tile. "No, baby, no." Sophia started, rushing toward her. Emily backed away, her small face twisting. "Lily's parents got divorced and they stopped talking just like you." I knelt down, ignoring the coffee soaking into my socks. "Emmy, is it because of Mr. Mark?" Emily whispered. "I saw him crying in his car yesterday." Sophia made a choked noise. My stomach dropped. "Kids always know more than you think." Jake picked that moment to barrel in, still half asleep. "Why's Mommy crying?" And just like that, the bomb we'd been trying to defuse exploded. 2 hours later, the family therapist's office smelled like lavender and regret. Jake colored aggressively on the floor while Emily clutched my hand hard enough to cut off circulation. The therapist, a kind-faced woman named Dr. Reyes, leaned forward. "Sometimes grown-ups make very big mistakes," she said carefully. "But that's never, ever the kid's fault." "Was it because I didn't clean my room enough?" Jake asked suddenly. Sophia burst into tears. I squeezed both kids tight, my voice rough. "No, this is 100% on Mommy and Daddy. We both love you more than anything. That part never changes." Emily looked up at Sophia with accusing eyes. "But you love Mr. Mark too?" The silence was suffocating. That night Sophia slept in the guest room. Lay awake staring at the ceiling when my phone lit up with a text from an unknown number. "It's Lisa. We need to talk. Meet me at the diner on 5th tomorrow." 10 a.m. My thumb hovered over the screen. This couldn't be good. Then another message came through, a photo attachment. It was a screenshot of a text from Mark to Sophia, sent just 30 minutes ago. "I can't do this anymore. I'm telling Daniel everything." My blood ran cold. Everything? What the hell else was there to tell? The diner's bell jingled as I entered. Lisa sat in the corner booth, her hands wrapped around a coffee cup that had long gone cold. She looked up when I approached. Her eyes were red-rimmed but dry. "Battle ready." "You came," she said. I slid into the booth, my pulse pounding in my ears. "What else did Mark confess?" Lisa pushed a manila envelope across the table. "Open it." Inside were printed bank statements. Sophia's account. Highlighted transactions showed $14,500 transferred to Mark over the past year. "What the hell is this?" My hands shook. "Your wife," Lisa spat, "has been paying my husband's gambling debts." "That boutique hotel?" "They met there every Thursday while you thought she was at book club. But first, she'd stop at an ATM and withdraw $500 in cash." The room tilted. All those times Sophia had complained about rising grocery costs, about needing to tighten our budget. I'd believed her. I'd even picked up extra shifts at work. Lisa wasn't done. She pulled out her phone and played a voicemail. "Lisa, baby, please." Mark's voice, desperate. "I'll end it with Sophia. Just don't tell Daniel about the..." Beep. The message cut off. "Tell me about what?" I demanded. Lisa's smile was razor-thin. "The baby." The air left my lungs. "Sophia was pregnant last spring," Lisa continued. "She told Mark it might be his. There's a clinic receipt dated 8 weeks later." I remembered that week. Sophia had claimed she had the flu. She'd stayed in bed for 3 days, barely speaking to me. When I'd brought her soup, she'd turned away. My coffee cup shattered on the floor. The waitress rushed over, but I barely noticed. The roaring in my ears drowned everything out. The villa found Sophia packing in the master bedroom. She whirled when I kicked open the door, her face streaked with tears. "Daniel, I can explain." I threw the bank statements at her. "Explain this." Her mouth opened, closed. Then she did something unexpected. She laughed. A bitter, broken sound. "You think I wanted to give him that money?" she whispered. "He threatened to tell you everything if I didn't pay. Said he'd send you photos, videos." My stomach churned. "What videos?" Sophia's knees buckled. She collapsed onto the bed, her confession pouring out. "The first time, at the company retreat years ago. He filmed us without me knowing. When we reconnected here, I didn't hear the rest. I was already sprinting down the hall to the kids' rooms." Emily stirred as I gathered her into my arms. "Daddy? What's wrong?" "Nothing, baby," I lied, carrying her to Jake's room. "We're just going on a trip." Sophia appeared in the doorway, her face ashen. "Where are you taking them?" "Away from you." My voice was ice. "If you try to stop me, I'll press charges. For extortion. Those bank records, that's felony blackmail." For the first time, Sophia looked truly afraid. Good. Epilogue. 3 months later. The moving truck pulled away from our new house, 600 miles from the villa, from Mark, from the ghosts of our old life. Emily and Jake chased each other through the empty living room, their laughter echoing off the bare walls. The custody agreement was clear. Sophia got supervised visits, 1 weekend a month. She didn't fight it. My phone buzzed. A text from Lisa. "Saw on the news today. Mark got arrested for embezzlement. Karma's a bitch. P.S. Sophia tried calling me last week." I hung up. I smiled for the first time in months. That night, as I tucked the kids into their new beds, Emily whispered, "Daddy, are we safe now?" I kissed her forehead. "Always." Outside, the first snow of winter began to fall, covering everything, making the world new again. To everyone who listened until the end, this story was inspired by multiple real-life Reddit confessions where affairs hid even darker secrets. If this made your heart race, you might want to check my other videos. I catfished my cheating husband with a fake account. The paternity test that destroyed our family reunion. Leave a comment if would you have forgiven Sophia. Should Daniel have told the kids the full truth? Want a 5 years later update on this family? Thanks for watching, and remember, not all love stories have happy endings, but every ending brings a new beginning.